Sluka, who is not here. And Mr. Hornbecker will get here when he gets here. Okay, this is the Purchase Brook Road project. Oh dear. No, someone will record it if I do that. Can we get a brief presentation? We had one, was it 2 weeks ago, but I think it's worth refreshing our memories.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Gary Giroux. I'm with Cardinal Engineering, and we designed the project for the town of Southbury. Last month, I briefly described what the project was, and it's a replacement of the Purchase Road Bridge culvert over Purchase Brook. The existing culvert's in very poor condition, and as everybody knows who has driven up there, the town had to restrict lane usage to one-way alternating traffic because of the condition of the downstream side of the culvert itself. We are putting in a brand-new culvert, which will be increased in size. Basically, the existing culvert can handle an 85-year storm, and we're going to put in a culvert that handles the 100-year design storm, which is the design standard per DOT and DEEP for that size watershed. The project will be done in phases, basically 3 phases. The first phase will be to accommodate a new travel lane on the upstream side. Second phase will be constructing the first half of the culvert on the downstream side, and then the third phase, moving up and doing the upstream side. At all times, the road will be left open to traffic, so traffic can get to that part of town, the Purchase end of town. Because of River Road, we had to rethink the whole project and go to a phased construction. Otherwise, we would have closed the road down and constructed the project in a much quicker time frame than what's happening now. But we are obviously before your commission because we are working entirely within the upland review area, and we are destroying, I don't like to use that word, but we are taking some wetlands for the project. It's minimal in numbers. Permanently, we are impacting a total of 115 square feet of Connecticut regulated wetlands. So I think that's minimal considering what we have to do to get the project going. If it wasn't for the phased construction, we probably could have gotten that number down to under 100, but it is what it is because we had to extend the culvert itself to get the traffic moving up on top. Also, as I mentioned before, we had to get both DEEP and Corps of Engineers approval, which we do have. So the project is ready to go. The town has gone out to bid, received bids, and they've basically approved not the low bidder, the second low bidder, which is Dayton Construction. We're waiting for this permit so I can submit the application to DOT, the funding application, supplemental application. Once DOT says go, the town can hire Dayton to start the project. They have already gone out on a limb and started working on it, coordinating with utilities and whatnot, which have to happen on the above side. As far as the selection of Dayton, Dayton's a very good contractor, and I'm very confident that they can get the project done probably within or less time frame than what we have proposed for the project, which is 5 months. And with that, I'm open to questions. I know Thaddeus and Carl have been out there looking at it. You may have had time to think of more questions you might want to ask, but I'm here.
Yes, thank you. I totally endorse what you've said and everything else. The concerns that I have, I don't know, you were out there when
Yep.
I was out there, and this truck came by with a huge load. I don't even know how heavy that truck was with that load, and it was huge. I am under the impression that the road sank on the other side because of heavy traffic, trucks like that coming through there and so forth. Don't you think that there should be some kind of restriction on the weight of trucks using that road?
Presently,
Yes.
the side that we have the traffic pushed over to, the upstream side, isn't, I don't want to say 100% better than the downstream side, but it's in pretty good condition.
Well, the thing that I see is, if that thing for any reason sinks and starts to deteriorate while you're trying to get out there and move dirt around and everything else, then the only way people are gonna get in and out of there is by helicopter.
The contractor, whom the town hopes to proceed with at Dayton Construction, they've been on many projects in the past, and I've been working with them on many projects in other towns. Somewhat similar conditions, where, you know, one was, there was a gravel pit rock quarry next to the project, and heavy triacs full of dirt and rock going by every day, and pretty much a similar situation. They have to maintain the project in a passable condition. So any temporary shoring, if it needs it, I don't think it will, but any temporary shoring that may be needed to prop up the existing culvert that's left in place during construction, they will do it.
Okay, and they're gonna let the town know and everything, have it
Yes,
have it
we
posted.
will, under contract with the town, Cardinal will have a full-time inspector on the job, overseeing the contractor, making sure that the plans and specifications are followed, and, you know, standard protocols is taken care of on the project itself.
Yeah, okay, that was really my biggest concern, because there, you know, there was something that caused the western side of that bridge to sink. And so if the whole bridge was built out of the same materials, on the same basic soil and everything else, there's a possibility that the other side could sink. And that bridge right now is the only way people have to get back and forth to their houses.
What we did as a part of the application process to DOT that initially got the town funding, 50% of the project, we did a detailed engineering inspection of the culvert, and I can say that upstream half is much better condition than the downstream half, and I'm confident as a signatory on the application that went to DOT and the inspection report, it's capable of handling traffic. But
Okay.
again, we will be watching it through construction.
Do you know why the one half is less stable than the other?
It's not, it's a condition of the concrete. I believe that the culvert was, do you know if it was reconstructed?
There was renovations to it.
Sometimes you get concrete, and we believe that downstream portion of concrete that's deteriorating, it's just a bad batch of concrete that went in there.
Well, that can happen, of course.
That can happen on any job.
So
There
what's the-
are more protocols and procedures you have to go through when you do concreting like that now, and there's a lot of testing that gets involved. And this project will have a testing lab on site, and they'll be taking samples of the concrete and taking it back to the lab and testing the concrete itself
Okay,
as it
well,
comes in.
that'll help. What is the projected capacity of the bridge when it's done? I mean, we don't be here 5 years from now.
When you say projected capacity,
They're heavy trucks going up.
it's designed for the standard HL 93, which is a very heavy load interstate quality truck. It's the most stringent design standard that DOT uses, okay? It's not your Supermax load, which we don't really expect out there, but it's something you could expect on I-84 or Route 6 or, you know, any major highway in Connecticut.
Because that, yeah,
And typically, any truck that's larger in size than what I'm trying to present that you see on I-84 needs a special permit from DOT to go on those roads. And you won't get a truck like that out there. It's just too far out of the beaten path. But, a triax, or even like the trucks you saw the other day with the heavy steel monopoles for the power lines. The design that we used for this project will take care of that. We'll handle it with ease.
The box cover is precast, isn't it?
It's precast
And
concrete.
the wing walls also precast?
No,
or
the wing walls are cast in place.
Okay.
The main structure we consider is the box, okay? And we load rated the box per DOT standards. And what we like about precast concrete is there's a lot of quality control in the manufacturing process, as opposed to cast in place. The reason why we go cast in place with the wing walls is we like to get the box in place, and then we precast the concrete wing walls so that we know the concrete will fit exactly to the box.
To adjust them to the site a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Will you refresh my memory? Is it going to be below or even with the bottom of the,
The box will be sunk a foot, so there's gonna be 1 foot of natural stream bed material all the way through the box itself.
and the
So,
diameter?
Pardon?
And the diameter's going to
The full width of the
be
box,
the same?
14
Yeah.
feet.
14 feet. And there'll be a channel down the middle, or we can do whatever you
Low-flow
want,
channel?
meander, a low-flow channel through the stream bed material.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I mean, that's typical. DOT likes to see that now, and the Corps requires it on all their permits, so we put it in. And it's basically to, again, low flow, make sure there's always a good regimen of flow so that, if there are any fish out there, they can make it upstream.
And there's no need for riprap on the other side?
There's gonna be some ripraps in the wing walls,
Some
not through the
riprap.
channel, but just in front of the wing walls itself. The wing walls flare out from the box, so they'll move away from the channel itself, and we'll put riprap along the edge, the bottom slope of the wing wall, just to protect that from scour. But again, with the box widened from 10 feet to 14 feet, we are actually lowering the velocities going through the project for whatever storm. So the impact of velocity against the erosive material in the wing walls will be minimal.
And did you say during our site visit that the contractor is responsible for removing or renovating downstream portions if material migrates down?
Yes.
And is there anything specific in your plan that you can expound on that a little bit?
No, there's nothing specific other than, like I mentioned earlier, we will have a full-time inspector who, his job is to monitor that situation downstream, upstream,
Yeah.
make sure the road is swept clean at the end of the day or the end of the week. It's more than just watching the culvert being constructed and the proper materials even being used. His purpose is to be out there to look at the entire environment to make sure it pretty much stays as it is now.
How would you envision that happening as it flows into a pretty steep ravine right past that site?
Well, typically, to be honest, a lot of times it's difficult to catch. I don't know. You don't know until you get that storm that causes the problem.
All right, but
But-
there are provisions for that
Yes.
inevitability, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're concerned about that?
I know, I think that, the project needs to get underway fairly soon, and maybe one thing I might suggest is somebody here in the town notifying the people that live down there off of River Road and along that piece joining River Road as to what the game plan is and.
We are, and Blake, we are going to assemble a list of all the property owners and email addresses and try to send out a email, a shotgun, and keep them up to date on how the project's going, when it's gonna start, what activity's happening this day, because there is going to be a time when they lift the boxes in place where the road will have to be shut down 100% for the crane. So in that case, this email chain will inform all the property owners, and hopefully by that time, we'll have some resolution on River Road, because we are also working on River Road, and we may be able to get it open to one-way traffic on a permit basis, so in coordination with this project, we're gonna try to get that to work out.
Okay, because
Yeah.
my understanding was that River Road was definitely gonna come to conclusion after this road gets fixed.
We don't know. It could happen at the same time, it could happen before. Keep in mind, when the town signs the contract with the contractor for this project, he's not gonna get boxes until, he told me last week, probably around July 1st. So, we may be able to get something done on River Road before that time, which will help alleviate the situation.
Well, it's gonna be a mess.
It's always a mess, yeah.
Can't stop that.
No.
Is there anything we could do that might help get the River Road stuff done?
Well, we're gonna have to come before you for River Road. Obviously, that's gonna be a,
Separate.
I don't wanna say a slam dunk, but, you know, as soon as we get,
Really hard for you.
we have to get our soil scientists out there to do their thing along, mostly on the uphill side. The river side, we don't believe there's any wetlands, and as far as the core permit goes, we feel confident that the amount of work down in that, into the river where the landslide occurred, is less than 60 feet. So we'll be able to go in and get an SV permit from the Corps, which means we're free and clear. As long as we follow the standard protocols, we can do what we want.
Okay.
We do have to deal with First Light also in that case, so
Let's see.
they're another entity we have to deal with. So I think this commission, I'm sure will help us along and get this thing going. And we're not doing the entire length of River Road right now, just the center port, or the middle third portion that is affected by the landslide and two other failed areas of the pavement. It's about 600 feet.
Okay, so I don't recall, when are we expecting, I know you're gonna start working on this right away, you need to get those trees down, although I guess that some of that's already been done.
Right.
But with that in process, when do you think we'll have it wrapped up? Approximately.
If the contractor can get the boxes July 1st, he can probably have it done, I'm hopeful like the end of September, middle of October.
Okay. And the boxes are being custom made?
They're custom made to our specifications, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always, though, I think,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Donna, do you have any?
No,
If you guys wouldn't mind, Commissioner Hornbecker just came in a little late. If you wouldn't mind just briefly reiterating everything that was discussed prior to Commissioner Hornbecker coming in, just so he's summarized on the discussion while he wasn't in attendance. That way he can vote at the end of this.
Yeah, in case you have any any issues. Mr. Giroux basically reviewed what he discussed with us at the regular meeting in terms of what's being done and why,
Okay,
and I don't think he provided any new information at that point.
okay. We also had a discussion
you
at the
talked
site
about it.
visit as
Okay.
well, so I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going to transpire there.
Do you have any particular issues that he has not addressed?
No, not that he hasn't addressed. I'm just wondering if we might make an effort to document the condition of the brook downstream for 100 yards or some given distance, so that we sort of have a picture of what it looked like before the activities, so
How about
that,
actual pictures?
well, so that the contractor can't say, well, that's the way it was when we started.
I like that. Jada, would you have a problem going out and doing that?
I
Get
can do that.
a couple hundred pictures?
A couple hundred.
Well, I don't know about that, but just some
No,
sort
it's-
of documentation.
That makes sense. I
as to
mean,
the
no problem.
overall condition of it for whatever period that is. Does it eventually crosses, what was the name of the other street down there?
Little York?
Yes, does it cross that? It
No.
gets that far and then it heads to the
It,
lake?
it, it sort of heads towards Little York, but then it heads back northwest towards Chippewa.
Okay. Well, for whatever, I don't know what distance it's necessary to do that, but if there's plunge pools, for lack of a better term, along that section, maybe we sort of get an idea what the average depth and condition of them is. To me, it'd be pretty evident if it was new material going in there, but to the contractor that needs to remove it, it might be,
Oh, I
it
didn't
might
see
be
that.
less evidence.
I think
So
Jane-
maybe we
No,
can make
that-
that a condition
you
of
can make-
our
you can-
approval.
You can make,
If you're
you can add any conditions you want to your
not really
permit.
planning to start until about July 1st?
Well, the
is that what you're
boxes
saying?
are gonna be delivered, the earliest we heard was July 1st, thereabouts, maybe the last week of June. As soon as the contractor has a real schedule from the fabricator, he's gonna work backwards
Yeah,
and give
Okay.
us a schedule when he's gonna actually start working out there.
okay.
Even though we're taking trees down now and utilities still have to move their poles, and that won't happen till April, May.
Okay.
So this,
I just kind of wanted to make sure that that request wasn't going to delay your timeline. So
no,
you have
no, that won't delay any
Time
time, no.
Yeah, you guys get some photos and we'll have Jada go out and get some as well, and maybe we can make flash drive copies and exchange them so everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a question. Downstream, is that private property?
Yes, it's all private property.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
need to
the
get-
property immediate downstream, we are getting an easement from them to both permanent and temporary construction easement, and a permanent easement for bridge maintenance purposes, because part of the wing walls are being built on their property.
Okay.
They are very friendly, they're signing off on it. It's in your lawyers, the town's lawyers' hands right now writing up the easement. And Jeff has already talked to them, and they are okay with the project. So I'm sure by phone call, we can call them and tell them, can we just walk up and down the stream and get photos, and there should be no issue there.
That's helpful.
I'm sure they're gonna want that
in
anyway.
their best interest.
It's to their
anyway.
benefit, absolutely.
So it's gonna be a muddy mess.
It could be. And again, July 1st is, I mean, that's the ideal time to do this, and the supposed to dry time of the year. But as we all know, it hasn't really been too dry lately, even last summer.
So there'll be excavation going on to fit the boxes in there, and you'll be stockpiling some soil and using all of the best management practices, because you've done this before, right?
Mhm.
Just wanted to say that. Make sure.
I'm just curious, you mentioned that the road may be closed during the installation of the boxes?
Yeah.
How long would that
Probably
take?
about 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
No worries, I
it's-
have no idea, this
it's-
I'm
it's-
new, so.
It's definitely not a long time. You only have to do 4 boxes at a time. And if it's all coordinated, well coordinated, it can be done in less than 4 hours. And like I said, I have a lot of confidence in Dayton Construction. I've worked on, this is going to be the 6th project of this nature in this part of the state, and they've come through. They just did 2 projects for me last year in Washington. Similar, although we had the road closed, but they were in and out in less than 2 months.
That's pretty good.
It really is. They're well organized, unlike some others I've worked with too, so I'm glad that
They're
the town
same-
selected them.
They're the same company that did the purchase Brown Brook Road, just before the training school, that big job there.
Oh, yeah.
They're the same group that did that.
Oh, they did a pretty good job.
Not too
Okay, good.
bad.
Did you say that they're going to actually do the Proctor tests or the concrete tests on site?
No, they take the cylinders on site.
I thought.
Any poured concrete, the lab that will do the testing comes out, takes a sample of the concrete, and brings it back to their lab and gives us a control test on it. Now, obviously, they do all the in-place testing that they need to do at the site, which is pretty much, slump and air entrainment and all that stuff. Then they take the cylinders back, cure it for 8 days, 20 days and 28 days. And they break the cylinders to make sure the proper strength's there.
Okay.
Typically, we get the proper strength at 8 days.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. I've been on a couple projects where things didn't go well.
I can't say things won't go well. I mean, you always have that possibility, but
Doing the testing, that's the best you can do.
yeah.
So how long in advance before you notify the landowners of this?
The landowners are in.
When you
they-
close the road
Basically,
down?
one landowner that's being affected. The upstream side is all town of Southbury property.
What I'm saying is notifying the
Oh,
people
I'm
down
sorry,
below so that they can actually
in the
know
lower
that
purchase, down by River Road.
that's closed and.
We're gonna get that list put together as soon as,
We have our schedule.
and we'll get everybody on board. I mean, I wanna get at least a month before construction starts. I mean, we had a public information meeting that, half a dozen, no, maybe like 10 people showed up for, and there were a lot of legitimate questions, but we were able to explain the project to them. I'm not saying that everybody out there was at that meeting, but I'm sure word gets around that what's happening and how it's gonna get done.
Well, if you're going to send them a notice anyway, that should take care of that. I wasn't too concerned about that. Any other issues on the construction or conditions or material storage, post-construction?
I don't think there's
stream
really gonna
flow?
be any room to do much material storage
I don't
there. We
think so
discussed
either,
that
but-
on site, and whether they
No,
might
the
locate
contractor
another
will-
local area.
Contractors will typically find someplace to work from, whether it's a piece of private property that they make a deal with, or even coming back to the town yard here. A lot of towns offer their town yard, but it's a long way. But then again, that's part of the project. They have to deal
Could be a
that, they have
tough
to deal
spot
with that.
The water and the lake and all that. Anybody? Anything? No? Okay, we have a draft resolution. I have a few comments on the resolution that are not substantive, and I'm not gonna bother reading them or going through it. It's just, making sure findings are actually findings as opposed to proposals, that sort of thing. And if it's all right, I would propose that you allow me to talk with the secretary and revise the resolution. If you want, we could send it out again, if you all want to see it.
So what do we vote on then tonight?
Well, we vote on the substance. If we vote on the exact wording, we can't change it.
Okay,
On the other hand, I don't really care that much. We can
Um,
leave it, we can in fact leave it alone. Why don't we just do that, and we'll just chat later.
you,
or anything today.
You-
And then approve subject to those changes, and then we'll make those changes, and you guys have already substantively approved it.
Well,
okay,
the change being documenting the downstream conditions, right?
it looks
That's
like
not in it, but we can certainly do that.
you
we'll add
have a
that.
number of things you'd like corrected?
Headings and little crap spelling and things like that.
I see.
I said not substantive.
Okay,
So we're gonna add,
So we'll just do minor, formatting changes.
well, and add, document existing downstream conditions.
You'll have to make a motion to add that, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll make the motion.
To approve the resolution,
Oh, to add the change.
To add the
That needs
change.
to be added, yeah.
okay, and to do some language, technical changes in the language, and then we can,
And then we
Get
have to
that
vote
through.
again, right, to approve the actual, okay.
and,
I just making sure.
and in your list of corrections, do you have changing pumping to piping
I'm
listed?
not sure I saw that one. Where is
Okay,
it?
in the fourth whereas section, it says pumping upstream side, and it's gonna be piping, not pumping.
Show me, please.
Bullet point number 2.
That one
Okay.
needs to be
Piping.
piping instead of
Oh,
pumping.
I didn't even see that. Good. So we got a few revisions. That's interesting. I actually thought pumping made sense.
We thought it was pumping, but it's not, it's piping.
Okay, good. All right, so let's vote on the addition, that change and the addition of the documentation of downstream conditions. It's been moved by Donna, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. And we will get a revision of this out to everybody and see if there are any comments on that, and then we're done.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah.
Very good. I think we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless you guys have anything to say.
Just thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. We look forward to continued positive relationship and more communication moving forward. So thank you for your time and
pleasure.
all you put into this and this expedited review. That
And
helps
I
us
would
out a
like to
lot.
talk to you for about 30 seconds after we're done, if you
I'm
don't.
all yours.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Donna moves, Carl seconds, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Earlier than I thought.
Sit down and wind down.
Yeah, how's the arm?
9 to 12 weeks of rehab now.
Oh, Carl.
That was not what I wanted to hear today.
No. Ee. Are they giving you a good prognosis, though? Like, when you're done, it should be good?
Yeah, it should be, I guess.
What did you do?
Torn rotator cuff.
He got old,
He got all that day?
just like the rest of us.